A very good day to Bon Maziani. My name is Yeo Ying Sheng from Group 44, and I am here to present to you our program, which is named Hospital Billing System. So this program actually works with a purpose to calculate the amount of cost that a patient has to pay after living in a hospital or receiving service from the hospital. So there are about 4 different options here. The first one is hospital daily rate, the second one is types of surgery, types of medication, and the last one is types of service. So the cost that a patient has to pay is calculated according to 4 of these options. Maybe for the first one is the hospital daily rate. So for the first one we choose 1, and this will bring us to another interface, which is the inpatient and outpatient. Each is represented by 1 and 2 respectively. So if the patient is an inpatient, so the admin will enter inpatient number 1, and the next one will bring us to the next interface, which presents us with the room categories. We have 1 until 6. So maybe the patient has been living in a 2-bedded room, so number 4. And the next one, it prompts the admin to enter how many days has the patient been checked into the hospital. In other words, how long has the patient been living in there. Maybe the patient has been living in there for 3 days, and this brings us to another interface, which is the food menu, and we have 3 different choices, including set A, set B, set C, and the 4th one is no food ordered, which means the patient did not order anything for that particular day. So the system prompts the user to enter the set of meal on day 1. So maybe on the first day, because the admin has entered 3 days, so it will prompt the admin to enter meal for each of the 3 days. The first one is set A. Maybe on the first day, the patient had set A as his meal, and on the second day maybe he had set C, and on the third day maybe he didn't want to order any food, so number 4. And after iterating the process for 3 times according to 3 days entered by the admin, the main menu will again be presented to us, to the admin, and this time maybe the admin want to enter the types of surgery that has been done by the patient. So this brings us to the surgery categories with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Different types of categories. Maybe the patient has been undergoing the spine surgery, so we can option the spine surgery. Maybe he has been going through another types of surgery, which is hip replacement surgery, so number 2. And the system prompts the user to enter another option, or the patient can enter 7 to return to the menu, so number 7. And this brings us out to the main menu again. So maybe the doctor has prescribed a certain kind of medication to the patient, so the admin will type in 3 to find the type of medications, and in this case maybe a paracetamol has been given to the patient, so he will type in number 1. And this situation appear where the program asks the admin to enter how many doses of medicine per day has been taken by the patient. Maybe each day he takes in 3 doses for morning, afternoon, and night. And number of days the medicine is taken by the patient, maybe the patient has been taking it for 3 days. So after that, the program will prompt the admin to pick another option, or he can press 7 to return to menu. So maybe he is prescribed another type of medication, number 4, and how many doses, maybe not 3 doses, and how many days, maybe 2 days. So he can either pick another option or press 7 to return to menu. So he press 7, and this brings us out to the menu again. So now we have the service, types of service, our last option. The admin can ignore this if the patient did not use any service of the hospital, but in this case the patient has used it, so the admin will type in 4. And how many times has the patient received services? Maybe the patient has been receiving the service, different kind of service. Maybe he has received x-ray for 3 times and blood test for 2 times, so a total of 5. So here we have different kind of service categories which is presented, and the program wants the user to pick the service received by the patient on the first time. So first time maybe he received an x-ray, and the second time maybe he received a blood test, third time maybe he received blood x-ray again, and the fourth time maybe he received physiotherapy, so pick 5. And a unique situation appears where it prompts the user to enter how many hours is received by the patient to undergo physiotherapy. So maybe he has undergone a physiotherapy for 5 hours, so we type in 5. And then for the 5th time, maybe he underwent an MRI scan, so number 3. So after iterating it through 5 times, which has been entered by the admin, that he has been taking the medication, that he has been taking the services for 5 times, the process will end and it comes out to the main menu again. So we have completed all the processes, and now it's time to check out the patient, so we type in 5 to check out the patient. And the final payment is 107,946 ringgit and 50 cents. So the patient has been officially checked out. Next, we want to check for some unpredictable situation where there might be situations when the admin actually enter a number that is out of range. Maybe in this case there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and the admin enter 6. So the system will prompt the admin to pick a valid option, which is 1 until 5. So if we pick 1, and in here if the admin pick number 4, so the same thing will be shown again because he is not entering a valid option. So if the patient is outpatient, that means it will display a message that the patient is not registered as an inpatient, thus no information regarding the patient. So no information regarding the patient means that the patient is not admitted into the hospital. So there is no information of different types of rooms or how many days has the patient stayed in the hospital, or what kind of food is eaten by the patient, because the patient is just there for maybe consultation or get some prescription of medicine. He's not living in the hospital, so no information of different room, food, or even how many days he has spent in the hospital. So the system will skip the first step, and now the only left steps are 2, 3, 4 and 5. So if he wants to enter surgery, maybe he's just here to take a surgery, so maybe he wants to have a knee replacement surgery, but the admin accidentally typed in 8. So the system will prompt the admin to pick a valid option because 8 is not in the range, so maybe pick 5. And then the system will prompt him to pick another option or press 7 to return to menu. So this is actually a pretty good system because it reminds the user that they can actually return to menu by pressing 7 and not just wait for the system to process. So maybe he wants another surgery, so number 3, the coronary bypass surgery, and it prompts him to pick another option again. So this time he doesn't have another surgery, so return to menu. And for the third one, maybe he wants types of medication, so this time he wants maybe 1 and 3. He wants multiple medication, so first one, paracetamol. First they'll ask for number of doses of medicine per day taken by the patient, so maybe they want 5 doses. They take 5 doses per day and they have taken the medicine for 6 days. And pick another option, maybe yeah, he wants number 3, so it's 5 and 3. So he doesn't want another prescription, so press 7 to return to menu. And number 4, the types of service. Maybe the user has been using the accommodation of the hospital, so how many times has a patient received services? Maybe he has received different types of services for, let's say, 4 times. And the service categories menu is presented, so you can choose either one of these. These are the accommodation that is provided by the private hospital. So maybe he has undergone blood test for the first time and vaccination second time, and then CT scan and physiotherapy, and this will be displayed how many hours. Maybe he underwent physiotherapy for 6 hours, and types of service is done. So now it's time to check out the patient. So we check out, and the final payment is 67,805 ringgit. The patient has been checked out. So how we implement the program using the function is that we will call the show menu. The show menu function is this one, which will display the main menu. So the main menu consists of the patient billing menu and until here. So this is the show menu, which will be shown to the user for the admin to choose from 1 to 5. If the user choose 1, which is the first choice, the hospital stay function will be called. This is the hospital stay function, and hospital stay function contains the integer room types equal to 0, the stay duration equals to 0, and the double daily rate equals to 0. It calls the patient details function, which passes through the room types, stay duration, and daily rate as reference into this function. So now we have the void patient details function, where it has int ampersand room types, daily rate, and stay duration. So the daily rate, which is the payment that a patient has to pay according to different room and different food. Since daily rate is passed as reference, we don't need to return anything at the end. So for the function of hospital stay, we'll return the daily rate back to the int main function. And if the admin choose 2, which is according to the show menu function, it is the types of surgery. That means it is the second choice. We'll call the surgery charges. In the surgery charges function, it calculates and returns the amount of surgery charge of a patient. And this is the process of the program. This is the part where the surgery fees is calculated according to different types of surgery. And at the end, the function will return the surgery fees back to the int main function. And if the admin choose number 3, the pharmacy charges function will be called. So the pharmacy charges function is this one. It will calculate and return the medication fee of a patient. And this will display different medicine, which are paracetamol and so on. And this is the part where the medication fee is calculated. At the end, it will return the medication fee. Back to the int main function, we have the service charges function call. So we call the function of service charges, which calculate and return the service charge of a patient for using the services of hospital like physiotherapy, x-ray, blood test, MRI scan, CT scan, or vaccination. This is the part where the service fee is calculated. At the end, the function will return the service fees back to the int main. After the admin has decided to check out, the total cost will be equal to, we call this function patient bill. So the function call of patient bill, we passed in all the value that we have calculated earlier from the different functions. So we have hospital stay cost, surgery cost, pharmacy cost, and service cost, which we have used the 4 different functions earlier to calculate them. Patient bill function, which we will calculate and return the sum of hospital stay, surgery charges, pharmacy charges, and other service charges. We see out the final payment total cost.